How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my single-player survival world, where today we are going to be taking our very first world tour since we've updated to Minecraft 1.14. We've got a lot of things we're going to be catching up with, but most importantly today, I think we just enjoy the world for the fact that we've built the world to walk around in these world tours and enjoy them. To sum up the entire challenge of this world, we are building on a massive island, and the point of this island is that every single part of it is going to work together with the other parts that we build. So every village walks through a forest to another village, and it feels complete, and it feels like we actually have a world that we can enjoy and walk through and be immersed in, versus, of course, your standard Minecraft world. So let's get things started here in the northeastern part of the world, where we are in our pirate area, which is known as Bluebird's Bay, and of course we've got ourselves our very first ship in the world, and one thing I'm quite proud of. I think it looks very good, and of course this was something, I'm not actually sure, this would have been either just before the last world tour or just after it that we built this, and it's kind of a thing that I've built before in the past, where I've built a ship before this, and I was very excited to build this one, and of course, I'm very happy with the way this one came out. Although there's one thing I've been forgetting to fix, and it's actually bugging me now that I've started this world tour, but those ropes there, I tried to get them to go up to the crow's nest at the top there, but as we went up, it just didn't look right, so I went just to those sails over there, thinking that maybe we could get away with it, but the more I look at it, the dumber it looks. So that is something we're going to have to fix. Now, as far as the area here in the northeast, we have mostly completed what I want to complete here, at least for now, until maybe one day we come through and do a 1.15 in the future, or I don't even know what the heck that's going to be. Whatever it is, maybe we find some blocks that we know would work really well in here somewhere, and we'll just update them. But for now, I think we can call this area well complete. As for the ship, we've got a few little things on it. I might actually quickly swim over there because there's a few things to look at on the inside. Although I do want to complete everything on this. So we want to go ahead and furnish the whole thing, put a whole bunch of cargo on it. But for now, it's still got some of the stuff, for instance, the chests and stuff from when we were building it. And some things have been completed inside. Some things aren't. Well, what the heck? I thought maybe we were running into some mobs that were going to be hurting us, but no, this guy's just a wandering trader on the ship. That is so appropriate. If I can name tag him, he can stay, or it looks like he might be going. Goodbye. Farewell. So here's some of the stuff we've got on, you know, the barrels, amazing things, which indicates to me that this must have been since the last update, of course, so this wouldn't have been on the last world tour. Of course it wouldn't have. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've got up to here. We've just done the inside, the captain's office and room over here, the bed and all that stuff, the parrot, which doesn't quite work. If you have a look, it's floating because, well, Minecraft. And that's pretty much the ship summed up for now, because there's a lot of stuff to be done. We just haven't done it, and eventually we will do it. But what this does offer us is one of my favorite views, which is right over here. In fact, it's perfect because you can just see the lighthouse sticking up over the top there. And of course the shaders do a lot for this, but I am very happy with this area, the way that we've managed to make a shipwreck in there. You can see just a bit of the ship stuck in there, the water coming out from, I'm assuming some like drains leaking, I don't know, but it looks really good, just the water falling down there. And the world in general from this angle, I really love it. It does, it feels like the pirates have taken over that area, and it looks like it, and I'm happy with the way it's turned out. Now, a few things, which of course, maybe some of you are new to the channel and don't know about what I like to build, but I like to build buildings, but I've recently been very much enjoying building the things between the buildings. So if you have a look, these sorts of things, they're fairly simple in terms of the build, but then they've got a whole bunch of stuff in the middle, which hopefully tells a better story than just putting a building down, which is something I think we all get into the habit of, and it can very easily get you carried away, and you end up just building buildings for the sake of building things. And I've kind of, I guess, evolved or developed myself to be a little bit different than what I used to do. So for instance, the tropical trees, I've really liked the way that these palms have turned out. They quite a bit different from the ones you would normally see, and I'm very, very proud of them, of course. But for instance, this sort of building here, where we've got just a standard tower, and then I've put on another little house on it, and then I've put a ship in it. So it's got a little bit more to it. You know, there's a piece of a ship with the building over here, the original tower that would have been here, and it all just works together in a very strange way. And that's another thing that I've really gotten into the habit of doing and really learned to love, is adding weird things into the world, which just gives it a little bit more character. And of course, this is a pub because it's a pirate area. It's a pub made from salvage materials. And of course, we've also got, for instance, underground areas. And I plan on doing a lot more of these, although they kind of are necessary to come after you've built things. I know I can do this. There we go. Good. I know I can fit through that little gap there. But for instance, here we've got the sewers in here, the drains, and look how, this actually looks so good with the shaders. Look how dark and gloomy it is. An area that I have not completed, I guess. Oh, wait, this is the well. Okay, yeah, I have completed. Don't worry, it's complete. But look at that, just so good. I love it. I love this so much. The more I go through this area, the less critical I am of it, because of course, a lot of the things when I build them, I feel very critical about myself. I say, you know, I could improve that, I could improve that. But now that I've taken some time away from this area for quite a while and finally walked through it with a bit more of an idea of enjoying it, I think it actually works very, very well. I may actually be taking a little bit too long in this area, but I'm enjoying just walking through and looking at little things. For instance, another thing that I like to do, and this is all in survival, of course, so I've got my survival-based stuff here. So we've got the warehouses, which look good from the outside, but on the inside, it's actually really a warehouse for me to store a bunch of stuff and be a central place for me to go back to when I'm building. So of course, we're in the northeastern region right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to walk slightly down to the south, which is where we've been doing most of our stuff since this, at least the update, and of course, since this last world tour. By the way, we're going through the prison, because the story behind this area, before I do leave this area for good, the story behind this area is that this was a trading point for a larger civilization, like a big kingdom that we are going to be building in the future that is in the middle of this island. And this has been overrun by pirates, of course, and the prison that was here once, the warehouses, the watchtower, all are now taken over. There's even a little bit of a cannon hole, which we probably will see from there, where it's blasted on the inside. In fact, in case I forget, let's just go have a look inside of it. Here we go. So just in there, actually, I can't fit through it, but you gotta believe me. A cannon blasted out here, let the prisoners free. Maybe the pirates themselves, maybe that's when they ran it over, but I love that little bit of story in it, and just the little bits really add up to a really cool world. Now, going further and further away, we've also got my main thing, which I love to do. And I think this is something that when I was talking about me improving my build with the buildings in the middle of the buildings, you know, like the pieces in between, the trees and the nature and stuff like that really has been the things in between in this area, because the area we're moving into right now is the farming area, and it's a big farmland where, of course, a lot of things are grown, being a farmland, and I think it's necessary that it doesn't have a village next to it on either side, and it has that expanse of farm, you know, it just has to feel like there's nothing around, it's a farm by itself. And what I've managed to do is use these trees for something a bit different than just adding something else in here. They actually form a wall between this area here and the farmland, which is not that far away. So there's a double use of them. And the thing is, as you walk through from here over this broken bridge, say you were actually going through and walking as if this bridge was completely fixed, it hasn't degraded yet, and you walk through, and eventually, all of a sudden, let's just keep walking, it should just open up, and you'll stop feeling like this area right here is, well, right here, and start feeling like this area here is its own thing. And you look back, you don't see anything, there's a little bit of a hill, maybe just a little bit there, but I guarantee you, as soon as you get out here, it just feels like it opens up and looks completely in its own space. And that's what I really love about that, is doing something that means two things. You know, we've got that area there, which has got these trees, and these trees are not just cool to look at and not just a tree, but they're also a barricade. I think that's a better word. A barrier, actually, a barrier is a better word. So that at least from your view, it feels like you're in a brand new area, and it feels like it could be far away from there, but it's really just a few blocks, probably not even more than I would say not even 20 blocks away in terms of depth in that forest there, but it definitely feels a lot further. The sun seems to be going down, which is not good for, well, the world, monsters and all, and also not very good for videos. So let's just have a look before it goes down completely. I want to see the lighthouse, because we don't get this opportunity. In fact, I never get this opportunity. Those darn berry bushes. Look at that. So good. So good. And then there's the windmill. We'll be having a look at those now, but I think I should grab a little bit of rest. All right, I can hear a zombie around, so we best keep our wits about us in case a creeper or something has spawned nearby, but it might also just be one under the ground. There's another wandering trader. Maybe this guy's underneath this house in some spot I forgot to light up or something. We'll just stay away from it. How about that? How about that? We'll just stick away from it. So we are not going to go there just yet. We're going to move on to our lighthouse around here, and then we'll move over that way because this is coming to the end of our past 25 episodes when we started building out this way, and this was actually our last episode. Well, being like last episode, we built this little pier, and all of this land, which might not look too different, but it all is actually custom built in terms of the like elevation of it and the shape of it. In terms of the actual, if you look down from the top like a bird's eye view, it mostly is actually the same area where there was water and there was land there, but I've just gone ahead and taken my own, made my own rules and taken liberties and built my own land there. I've also noticed this, look at this. We've got the area that was originally here. Can I swim, please? Am I swimming? There we go. Now I'm swimming. Underneath here, we've got what was once a river, but now is the farm above it, which I forget about, but I kind of like this little this little nook. I might even make like an underwater cave system or something there one day when I've got a whole bunch of time, but for now we've got too many other things which we want to build. So let's head down here and jump off that little dock over there and come around to the lighthouse, which I think is actually one of my favorite little builds. Even though it's incredibly simple, there's nothing too complicated about it. I mean, it's only 3 blocks wide when it comes down to it. It really does just work so darn well. And when we get to the top here, of course, we get a pretty neat view. I actually can't get to the top of that. So, you there. Good. There we go. So this is the view of this area right now. It looks a lot different with shaders on, I'll be honest. I didn't expect it to look quite like this, but I do like the look of it. You see the farmland, you see the farmhouse, you see the windmill, you can see the pirate area, and you can also see that forest there, which is also a custom forest, and I don't think we're really going to have too much of a use going through there, but maybe we'll walk through there once we've gone to the windmill before we go over to our hometown. But I think that's one of my little cool nature projects that I've been working on. Destroyed some of my crops on my landing there, but that's all right. Let's head on to the windmill, which is also still a bit of a work in progress in terms of the interior parts of it, because I do like to fill in the story of this world, as I say, and the interior is just as important, although actually, I'm lying, it's not just as important. It's a little bit less important than the exterior, because of course, you can't build an interior without an exterior, but you can build an exterior without an interior. And really, I mean, you might miss the interior. So it's not that important, but it is something that's important to me. And eventually I'll do it. But you can see there's a lot of space here. We've done a little bit of planning for one day when we do come into the barn part of this windmill, build the barn, build the windmill part. And actually, here's something I thought was really cool. These blades over here, if you have a look at them, let's just head around this way. This is something I actually learned from my first survival world on YouTube where I built a windmill. Just how to get the blades to look like they're spinning. I know it doesn't look like they're actually spinning, but give that illusion of them actually kind of being a little bit wavy from going up 2 blocks. So if I zoom in, you see it goes up 2 blocks and then 1 and then 2 blocks. And then of course that's the end. But on this side, it goes up 1 block, 1 block, 1 block, like that. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of gives a little bit of an illusion as if it is in the motion of spinning, which I really like. So that's one little part that might not be too obvious. And of course, actually, I forgot to mention, but these darn smoke particles, ooh, I love them. They the best thing that came with 1.14 by a mile. Those things are seriously super, super cool. Now, as we come up here, of course, I do have a little storage area for this area around here, and that is inside the windmill keeper's house. I don't know what you'd call him. The windmillist, the guy that operates the windmill. He's got his little house here, and right down there, bam, my secret trapdoor to my new storage area for here. Now, this part of the area, this is pretty much near the end, as I say, where we were getting to the very end of the last 25 episodes. And this was the last few projects where we built this, and then I built this area in here, which is one of the few places where we've taken a bit extra of a liberty to maybe changing the terrain in the world. Where I said there, I just used what was on the ground and built up from it. Here, I've actually removed, you can see where it's flat there, where we've kind of got up to. We've removed that area there so that when we do come in here and we're going to build a big dock place over here, so it's going to be docks and stuff around here, we have the land set up for us to work with. And that's what I did. I cleared that area out, made this little island, which I really like. It might end up becoming a fort in the future, in which case we'll chop down some of those trees, which is a little bit of a pity, but I kind of like it. And also, by the way, just a heads up for people who don't know about these trees. Everyone is hand-built. Like, I don't use any cheats in this world. It's completely hand-built. And I like taking the time to build these trees. There's actually something really enjoyable about sitting around, maybe pop on a YouTube video, watch a world tour of episode 75 and build some trees. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to do. And I quite enjoy the final outcome of this, where you've just got a stupid amount of trees in the world. Look at that, just crazy amounts. And this is only getting started as well. There's a lot more to come. Of course, I do want to change them up because the birch looks good. I do like that. I finally managed to get birch to look good. I never knew I'd be using those words together. But I do want to do some other trees in some other areas because, of course, I want to have different biomes. We've got the tropical biome that we were in with the pirate area, which we should be able to see from here. We've got this one over here, and I've got some spruce. I've got some oak. I got a bunch. I'll tell you that. I've got a bunch of ideas, which I'm just waiting to put out on there, and I'm looking forward to getting involved with those. So I said we'd walk through the little oak forest over here, and I think we'll do that before we head on over to the other side of the world. But right around here, chicken egg, another lucky one. As we come through here, this is what I've built, and I was testing out a few little things. And by the way, this over here from about this block cuts off to nothing. You can see just standard sort of stuff for now. And also over here cuts off to nothing with planning over there. So don't worry about that. But these little trees over here were, well, this whole area was me planning out and working out how I want the terrain to look, how I want the ground texturing to look. I worked out it, well, I worked in a few little pieces, for instance, concrete powder and stuff like that, but it's a very dark forest and I do enjoy it. It's also got a little bit of a story to it and a little, well, I guess a dark forest with a dark story maybe, who knows. But it looks really cool, actually, the shaders with the lights coming through, but I don't know, I really like it. It's got its own little feel to it, and I hope to do some other sorts of things like this, although this takes forever. These sorts of trees, you see we've got different leaves textured. Building these trees definitely takes a lot longer than those birch trees, which I've got down to a very, very fine craft where I kind of just probably take about, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes per tree. These ones here take me, oh gosh, I don't even know, a very long time. All right, so we're going to be leaving this area now, which is pretty much the only spots that we've built on in this island so far, because it's a long-term project and I think it's going to all turn out. I'm sure you can see what I'm talking about with at least maybe a little bit of my idea of how the space is going to turn out. You're going to walk through it. Everything's going to just merge together so well. Look at that. Just pretty. Let's get through here. Oh, dang it. I almost made that. And then just out this way. So goodbye, pirate area and the rest of Ireland. We will see you very soon. Let's go on to our very first area that we built in this world, which I think is quite nice because it feels a bit more like Minecraft versus here where we feel like we may be doing our own form of game where we maybe just more of a decorating style over there. In our other area, it's definitely more of a Minecraft feel to the game. All right, I chickened out. We went and slept and then we came back here. So the sun's coming up right now. I didn't realize we were that close to the night, but here we are. You can see our first little sailboat coming in. You can see the smoke rendering before we even get there. And there we go. Now it starts to render in. Let's just wait a little bit. Is that gonna, maybe I'm actually on the borderline of these chunks? No, that over there. Okay, it's there. It exists now. I was getting a little bit worried. Maybe the world corrupted or something, but no, we good. So right here, we've got ourselves our fishermen and our very first village. And this over here is the village of Spiritwood, which was where I decided would be a good place to start this whole series when I, of course, went through, checked out all the different seeds for us to make our world in. And I thought, you know, this one looks good. There was an existing village built into a little bit of a hill in the middle of a plains biome. And I thought, you know, I'd like to really build into the hill and hopefully make a cool looking village. And am I stuck in this boat? Which apparently doesn't exist. Yes. Okay. Please, can I get out of here? Is there some way for me to... Hello? Great time. Thank you so much. I'm doing a world tour right now, and this is when my game messes up on me. Okay. Boat might cause world to crash in future times. Okay, yeah, let's just walk away from that. That might be a problem. Maybe it's just the whole shade is not rendering that. But right around here, for instance, I've done a little bit of an underwater biome, sorry. I did this when the 1.13 update came around, which was, I think it was 1.13. Yeah, that was the aquatic update. And I really liked it, a little bit of a biome. It was something I wanted to try out. And of course, right around here, we've got our whole village, which is populated by villagers. However, there is one big problem. And it came around with the 1.14 update. And I know what you're thinking. You know, Jansey, you just got to protect your villagers from pillagers. And that's a fantastic idea. Pillagers are not the problem. I'll tell you what the biggest problem with keeping my villagers alive, and you're gonna laugh. Berry bushes. I have lost villagers to berry bushes, and I don't know how. They don't know how to path around it, but they just come into one, walk, and then they just keep taking damage all the time. And I'll show you where I've lost 2 of them that I've seen already. Let me just jump on this roof and around there. That berry bush. You see how they collect? There we go. You guys, these are the culprits. Look at this. All right, can I jump across here and jump across there? So they all, for some reason, gather up over here. They probably jump over one of these things and they sit around there. And then all of a sudden, I hear them taking damage. I look out and, well, they're in trouble. And you lost your job. Yeah, look at you. Yeah, you shake your head. And then I've also got this problem, which I don't even know what's going on there. But ignore that. I can't open the inventories there. That was happening last time I was here as well. But this village, just to walk through, because of course we're not here for the villagers, we're here for the village. I've managed to build all around this hill, and you can see it's on a hill, but it's more the houses that exist. And I just love this style that we came up with here. We've got these, as I say, built in. We've got these cool little roofs with a little bit of a point, but not quite like that whole, I think people commonly refer to it as like the Nordic build style in Minecraft, where you have these big points. I haven't quite done that. I've gone a shorter point with just an interesting roof, and I don't think I can ever do a plain roof ever again. So while we're here, we're going to the Cartographers House, because when 1.14 came about, I thought, you know, this is perfect. Now we get to give each of these places a real place for a villager to live in, and the cartographer seemed to make sense. Right around here is our world map. We were just working around there. There's our boat. There's our pirate area. Here's our farmland, which wasn't updated, but here's the island actually that we just recently looked at. Basically, I took away all of that area there. So this whole piece here gets cut around there. So it's a lot smaller, and around there, I cut all of that away. So a lot has changed, and also over here I've done some upgrades to this part here. We've got trees and all that. I need to update these maps. I really should take some with me when I go back there, but it doesn't look very good with shaders. But you got to trust me, that looks pretty darn cool in just plain Minecraft view, which we didn't do too far away if you want to see what it looks like. There was an episode pretty recently. I'll see you later, buddy. Now, of course, the librarian does exist in this library, but we saw him messing about all the way in the farmer's part over there with the guy that has no job. So yeah, that's where our librarian is. No mending books yet. In fact, that's one of my biggest problems. All of my things don't have mending. I think I've got one tool, which I got from the end with mending on it. No luck on a mending villager just yet. And I feel kind of horrible cheesing it, you know, where you can just redo the villager. I don't even know if that still exists. It just feels a bit sneaky. So I've been enjoying taking things slow and having to go for a mining session, because eventually the game just comes to a stage where, you know, you're just too good. You kind of have watched too many videos, and you can obviously just build a farm for everything, and you sometimes have to just force yourself to do things the way you used to do them. Of course, the way more inefficient way, but I think it's the more fun way to play, and that's the way I've been doing things a little bit more in this world. You know, taking it easy, taking it slow, and enjoying the building, enjoying the world for the game, at least for the game itself, and not just for making things as efficient as I've done in every world up till now. So right around here is the nice chilled out slow world that I've been playing on. But for today, of course, on this nice chilled out slow world, I've kind of just walked through his village. If you guys want to check it out, there is a world tour where I would have gone into much more depth in each of these buildings. We've got our stables. We've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. But I really do like the look of this. It is interesting, not interesting enough for me to carry on because this video has taken a very long time. So thank you very much for joining me, of course, for my whole channel's history, my whole series so far. And of course, I look forward to the future episodes to come. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed the shaders for a change, and I'll see you in the next one.